Hey, I'm Samantha.
And I'm Nicole, and you're listening to The Power of We.
Each week, we will share with you our crazy journey of sobriety and success as mother and daughter.
Our past is complicated, but it has made for two fascinating lives.
We have healed together through love and strength. Through mutual respect, we have created an unconditional bond.
Our goal is to empower you, the audience, to be the best you can be.
Together, we will share tips of motivation, mindful tools, and explore our guest journey so we can all win together.
You are listening to The Power of We.
So excited about this week because we're talking about empowerment.
Our favorite subject. You have empowered me my whole life, from a child growing up and just watching my independent mom make something of herself, grow her own company.
You're making me cry.
And just be such an empowering woman. I mean, couldn't be a more perfect subject to talk about.
And I am so proud of you because this week, you killed it this week. You were in Elite, empowering these girls to be able to come in, be designers, and start their careers. So that is super exciting. So I'm so excited about our guest today. Marci Hopkins is an award-winning TV personality, host, show creator, and executive producer of Wake Up with Marci.
Woo!
Wake Up is a talk show all about empowerment. She touches on wellness, health, female issues, divorce, family, self-help, mental health, and beauty.
She has specialists on to educate the audience, provide tools and resources. Marci is 5 years sober. How incredible.
She supports the Hope From Above organizations for orphans in Africa, ambassador of Survivor Corps, helping to assist in finding COVID immunizations, and is on the board of the YWCA, dedicated to eliminating racism, empowering women, and promoting peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. It makes me cry. Wow, I'm so excited to be here with you.
We're so excited to have you here, Marci Hopkins, everybody.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, thank you.
How are you doing?
I am fantastic, thank you.
Well, I have one question for you. Being a woman that has empowered, I really want to know what other women do. So when I wake up every day, I try to figure out, I have to have a routine so that I can empower people. What is your routine?
So the first thing I do before I get out of bed is I connect with God. I say my gratitude list, anywhere from just at least 10 things. It could be the smallest thing, from the carpet I'm walking on in my room. And I also listen to Abraham Hicks, and I get my message for the day. And then
He's
I get
amazing.
out of the bed, I set an intention, and then I go take care of my kids, get them off to school, and then I start my work.
That's amazing.
So, and I forgot, I have to work out. That I do have to put that in.
Yeah, we all
Of
need
course,
that.
yeah.
Otherwise, it's not going to be very good. Well, I know that Nicole, is a new in empowerment, so she really was excited about.
I'm so excited to talk to you. I actually go to school for journalism at Loyola Marymount University, so it's really cool to talk to a broadcast journalist and someone who's empowering women all over the world. I mean, I really look up to you. So I was just wondering, is there something you could give, some advice you could give to all the college students out there who are looking into this field of work?
Well, first of all, I would say listen to yourself in what you feel that you're most comfortable in, because there's so many directions that we can go in. Mm-hmm. I actually used to be so fearful to be in front of the camera. So the fact that I'm even a TV host blows me away, because I used to work behind the scenes. I learned everything about the business behind the scenes. Then I got in front of the camera, learned everything about that. And then that's when I really decided what was going to make me the happiest and how I could give back. So just really learn everything that you can and listen to yourself and do what makes you happiest. not what everyone else tells you to do and the direction they think you should go in.
I love that. That's amazing.
amazing, yeah.
And you know what's so important? What you just said. What makes you the happiest? What makes you the happiest?
You know what? Telling people stories and giving hope to others out there. I mean, because there's so much hope and happiness, even though right now, I know that we've all gone through a really difficult time, right? And these huge shifts and, things we didn't ask for. But the best thing that we can do right now, and I'm doing this myself, is just looking for the things that I'm most grateful for, and then moving forward to be able to give that back to others. So that's what brings me happiness.
Amazing.
That's amazing. So what are you most grateful for in this moment right now?
Well, of course, being on your podcast.
Love it. Yes.
So sweet.
That's amazing. So I heard you're sober. Is that true?
Yes, in October, I celebrate 6 years.
Wow.
Woo! That
Congratulations.
is amazing.
How'd you do it?
Well, oh my God, it was some long road to get to the decision to put down the drink.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
I'm
for
right there
sure.
with you. So,
and that's no easy decision to make. I had to hit a rock bottom for me. I thought, of course, I played the victim really, really well.
of course.
And it was everybody else's fault.
Right.
And if you weren't drinking like me, then you just weren't fun.
Uh-huh.
But I started drinking when I was about 12 years old. And the reason that happened is I was sexually abused. So I used alcohol throughout my life to cope. Both my parents were alcoholics. And I had to have a long road of drinking, and this final time in my life where things were starting to crumble. And I did get a DUI, and I openly talk about my story because I think living in your truth only helps other people. So I ended up getting a DUI. I thought I was going to lose everything. I woke up the next morning, and I've been thinking about this a long time. And I said, I'm an alcoholic and I need help. And I went to my husband that morning, and it was either I was going to get a divorce or I was going to get help. And when I sat down with him on that couch and I said, I'm an alcoholic and I need help, he embraced me and showed me love like I'd never felt before.
Wow.
And I felt like the weight of the world fell off my shoulders.
That is
incredible.
Amazing. I mean,
I went to AA, and AA worked for me. There's so many different ways, right? Different modalities. Everybody heals in their own way. But I learned so much in AA. Like, I've had so many therapists in my life, but AA is really where I made the breakthrough for myself to start breaking my cycles.
That's seriously incredible. You know what? I believe that everything is meant to be, and you're on this podcast for one reason, and it's not just about being sober. And my daughter went through that same thing, and it was so awful as a parent. And it's like, I can't believe how many people went through that.
Yeah,
so, I mean, crazy, right?
I was sexually assaulted as well, and I turned to alcohol and mostly drugs for me too. And it's crazy to hear like other people have the same story. Both my parents are addicts or, alcoholics as well. And it's so touching to hear other people that have been through the same thing. And it almost makes it a little lighter on you when you're like, other people have been through it.
That's why we want our listeners to hear this.
You're not alone. That's the biggest thing, to know you're not alone. And my mother died from alcoholism last year. She never won the battle.
Sorry.
So the two of you, it's amazing what you're doing in the story, and what, just the hope you're giving each other.
Well, actually, the empowerment, it all comes back to empowerment and whatever program you decide to go on. But I got sober first because my son said, if you don't stop drinking, I'm never speaking to you again. So he was my angel. And in turn, she got sober, and then my son got sober. So there's 3 of us, and us doing this together is so powerful, and it's empowering. And not only am I empowering, but she's empowering, Brandon's empowering. In Miami,
it's a ripple effect.
It's a
too.
ripple
It's
effect, and it's
so
so
crazy.
cool. I'm so excited to hear about you. And since you've been sober, what have you done?
Well, I got to tell you, if anyone's out there on the fence, go for it, because life has never been better.
Yeah! Woo! Love it.
I am not kidding you. I have healed from the pain. I mean, of course, you always are healing.
Right.
But I was able to do, have major breakthroughs. I turned myself over to God completely, and whoever your God is, your higher power, and had a spiritual awakening.
Amazing.
I ended up getting my show. I'm writing a book. I can now get in front of the camera and do auditions and such without the fear and feeling like I have to drink to do that. I love myself. I believe in myself. And that is something that I never had before. And when you start to love yourself, and if you guys feel the same way, all of the relationships that I had outside, my husband it all changed. It all changed for the better. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful life. And I'll tell you, I don't feel like I am missing anything. I love my life today.
We talk about since we've been sober, our life has changed and people have fallen off. Like she says to me sometimes, I don't have the
people I used to use and drink with, obviously. I mean, some of them that were my good friends are still in my life, but they're just, we call them my drinking buddies or whatever. They fell off.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is for the better. And
so it's a world change. It's definitely a world change. And at first, when you go sober, so listeners, if you're listening, don't feel like it's just you. It is a change. It takes a good 18 months till your feet are back on the ground. But that's why I want to know, what tools do you use to stay sober?
Well, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to talk about in the beginning, because this is something that I have carried on. One of the first things was creating that gratitude box, right? And putting in what I'm grateful for. And I have held on to that gratitude and living in gratitude every day. That helps me. Giving back, giving of myself, getting out of myself, that helps me tremendously.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Because we can all sit there and wallow in whatever has happened to us, but we need to move forward and move outside of ourselves. And when you start to do that, there's just beautiful shifts that happen. And I just really turn it over to God, and I just gave up the reins, right? Like, I don't need to drive this bus anymore. Let somebody else do it. This universe has got me. So, that's just a beautiful thing. And just being there for my family, unlike I was before, these are the gifts.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I know that you're involved with a lot of charity. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes. So I have this Hope from Above. It's a orphanage out of Africa. And, I just, they found me. And when they came to me, I just felt this vibrational shift inside of me that, like, God was telling me I needed to help them. And these orphans have lost their parents by AIDS. And, they were living in shacks. And over the last couple of years, we've been able to raise enough money for them to buy land, to build a home that we take advantage, we take for granted.
Right.
They had no running water. They cooked outside. They had no indoor bathrooms, so these are and not enough beds. So this is something that they now have. The YWCA is all about empowerment, empowering women, equality, things that we all are talking about today. And the YWCA makes such a huge difference. And they're also in the New Jersey area, the only place that you can go to if you have been raped or sexually abused, and they will pay for the hospital visit and giving you the kits that are needed, rape kits and such, and also clothing and anything that you need when you leave, and then also therapy. They also empower young, teens, and that's where it starts. That we need to really empower our young so that we can, give them the gift of a powerful future, because they are our future.
Yeah, that's so true. Actually, I own a home staging company, and one of Nicole's first jobs, I told her, so we're involved in the Home Light, which is, for all kinds of things, people living on the street, battered women. And so I gave away 2 bedrooms worth of furniture a couple years ago, and the girl, Sarah, she would love for me to say her name. She's doing fabulous. She's been in AA and she's doing amazing. And she called me and said, I'm getting my first apartment with my son. And she's like 32 years old. Yeah. And I told Nicole, you know what? This will be your first staging job, because I wanted her to.
It was such an incredible experience to be able to go. Not only did we get to talk and share stories and like relate to each other on stuff and just, experience like sharing each other's stories and all of that, but we got to help each other and heal each other through that. And I got to help her design her house and just see how excited she was to be able to like have a place for her son to live. And I got to go there actually, and I went to the home and I helped them put all the furniture in it, and it was just it was a magical experience. I mean, the feeling of home and gratitude and just them coming together. Like the son gave me a hug and he was like, thank you so much. Like they were so grateful. And
so I can only imagine how she feels helping the whole orphanage. Like, you're a hero, honestly. We want to be a part of it. Anything we can do, please let us know.
So empowering.
Listen, I'm going to hit you up then.
Okay. Please do.
Yeah,
we love helping. We're definitely all about that.
So how did you start Wake Up with Marci? How did that come about?
Oh, goodness. Well, I actually, when I started my healing journey, I took a little leave of absence because actually my drinking really escalated when I started getting in front of the camera. And after about a year of my healing, I started having that self-confidence, and I realized I wanted to get back in the industry. And what could I do? How could I do that and give back? So I actually started a social media talk show called Coffee with Marci, and I interviewed entrepreneurs and nonprofits in the community, and it was a big hit. But my life just kept getting bigger and bigger, and I knew that I wanted to help on a bigger scale. So that's when I created the platform Wake Up with Marci, sharing stories of triumph and hope, and just trying to help people live their happiest lives. I mean, I just have the most amazing people that come on my show that can educate us, share stories so we can relate to them, and know that we can get through anything. And with the resources, put things in action. That's my dog's tail. And, it is a blessing every single time I meet one of my guests, because I learned so much and I know they're going to help someone. So I love the platform that I have been able to create with this Wake Up.
Super exciting. Your lineup for guests have been very impressive.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like really growing. I love it.
It's amazing.
So tell me something that was so different and unexpected in one of your celebrity guests.
God, so different and unexpected. God. Well, I just have to say that each one of the celebrity guests that come on, they really, really want to make a difference in other people's lives. And I'm able to bring that out on the show. And one of my favorite guests thus far has been Kim Fields, which I used to watch her all the time on The Facts of Life.
Well, yes,
and now she's
I love
on
that
The
show.
Upshaws, which is like the #1 show on Netflix.
It's
she
so
was
funny.
just on the cover of People magazine.
Amazing.
And Kim Fields is the most down-to-earth, incredible woman that I have interviewed. I felt like I was sitting there with my best friend.
Wow.
That was a huge surprise. So yeah, so let me tell you, just because someone's famous or celebrity or whatever, we're all humans, right? We're all connected. And that's what I love is creating that human connection and really, you know, having the same goal, and that's to give a message to help somebody else.
What is next for you?
I'm writing a book.
Woo! No way. That's so cool. I could never do that, but I'm so excited for you.
What's it about?
Well, it's called My Signs from the Other Side.
Ooh.
Because since I started my healing journey, I've had so many signs from the other side, like crazy, off the charts. Like I just can't even believe they happen. But the gist of the book, like I wanted to tell my story because it's so important to tell the story, but I didn't want to just tell us my story, my background. You know, I wanted to help people through this. So it's really just chapter by chapter of my journey from the abuse and other things that have happened, and having an alcoholic parent, and then also now my healing journey. But with each chapter, it's a story. And then I give you information, resources, and ways to help yourself with your mindset if it's something that maybe has affected you. So for instance, I'll just give you a quick example. You know, the first chapter where it starts off about the sexual abuse of my stepfather. After that chapter, I'm going to be giving information about how prominent sexual abuse is, what the grooming process is, the help that's out there available, what to look for, how it affects the family, and who you can turn to. So that's just a small example of what you'll be able to get out of the book, and work on yourself, you know, and that's, you know, there's going to be the steps of AA in there. There's going to be, I have a lot of inspirations that I've written on my own, quotes and stuff. I'll have that in there. So really excited about it.
Well, are you going to do book tours, or what's going to happen? I mean, you have so many people around you. So it's great if you can. I would love to come to like a book signing of yours.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I am so hopeful to do a book tour. That is definitely on the agenda, but I got to get my husband on board, because then that means he has to actually take care of our teens.
Well, I know what that's like. Mine are like Irish twins.
Yeah, very close in age.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you were busy.
Yes. She's 22 and my son's 20.
Yeah, very close.
So they got in trouble together.
We also got sober together, so
which is amazing.
Things happen.
It is amazing.
How's it going with your twins right now?
So my daughter is 15 and my son is just turned 18.
Wow.
And so he'll be going off to college, and you know, it's so funny, and I, you know, I know you can relate to this. It's like, I thought I would never want my son to leave the house, but now I'm so excited for him. But his first journey outside of the house, he's going to be going to school in London for about the first semester, and then he'll be coming back to the States. So
that's exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What an amazing experience he's going to have.
You know,
so that's what I think, Nicole. I think it's going to be the best experience for him, and he's going to really like come into his own, because honestly, Samantha, I don't know about you, but I do. I admit it. I do baby my son more than my daughter.
Yeah, but my son's a Leo and he thinks he's my boss. So let's get something straight.
Geez, well, that's
but
my daughter.
I was drinking while they went to Europe, right? So I thought I was the fun mom. I was like, let's go to
Ibiza.
Ibiza. Let's have fun. And some girl gave us something. I don't know. what was it?
Brownies.
Pop brownies. And next thing I know, we were all, I mean, ridiculous.
Samantha was in the pool running a marathon thinking she was running. It was so funny.
I mean, I thought I was so funny, but I really wasn't. You know, I'm sure I was looking like
I get it. I understand what you're saying.
What can you tell people about alcohol, and what can you say to our
young
listeners?
People, especially like kids in college, like people
your
son's and daughter's age.
Listen, kids are going to experiment with alcohol. I mean, that's just a rite of passage. My son actually has never even had a drink at this state. And it does concern me a little bit because he's going to go off on his own. And I have tried to encourage him because I think that they need to have an understanding of alcohol, how it affects you, right? Because when you're in college, you're like, I can do whatever I want to, right? You know, and the keg, you know, you're doing the funnel or whatever, right? It's just about having a great time. And, you know, I do think that we but we're going to have those experiences. But like I tell my 15-year-old daughter that is starting to experiment because she's very social and, you know, she's going to the parties. The best thing that I feel that I can do for her is to explain to her what alcohol does, how it affects you, the consequences, and the poor choices that you make with alcohol, and what can happen to you once you maybe have crossed that line and drank too much, and what that can look like. Right. So I just think education is really the most powerful thing that I can give my daughter. And then I have to trust her path after that.
That's powerful. True. I mean, I tried to tell them not to drink, but I was drinking myself, right? So that really wasn't very good. But, you know, I mean, everyone is going to do their own journey. That's true. Yeah. But, you know, I mean, right now, the young sobriety is huge. I mean, Nicole.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. I go to meetings all the time, and there's like 300 people in my meetings, all from the ages of like 15 to 30. And honestly, it's amazing, and it's inspiring to see all these. I mean, people younger than me are getting sober, and I'm like, imagine what their life is going to look like in 10 years. It's incredible.
That's exactly right. And, you know, I try to tell my daughter, you know, what it looks like when it maybe starts to be a problem, right? You know, there's regular drinking, and then there's drinking to excess, and what that can lead to. And, you know, she, you know, just shared a very sad story that one of her friends was sitting in bed drinking vodka at 15.
Yep.
That's not a good sign.
It's
you know?
very common. And that's why we want our listeners to hear, you know, from our age group, from Nicole's age group, from all over, because this disease affects everybody, right? And, you know, the one thing that I think that you and I both have got our hands around is the clarity, right? So once we stopped drinking, so I got divorced and I started drinking like a fish. That was my way of like being cool mom, right? And it sounds like, you know, you were at the end of your drinking really heavily. So, you know, I just want our listeners to understand that that's not the answer. That clarity, being clear, it's like being in high school for me again. What about you?
In the healing process, I would say that starts after you get sober, because, you know, when we're drinking, we are like suppressing our emotions so much. So I feel like we don't learn the things that everyone else is learning about how to deal with our emotions. So these young kids who are, you know, drinking in their bed, they're not learning how to deal and cope with their emotions. So then when we get sober, like then that's when our healing starts, and we start learning how to cope with our emotions. So and you experience that, right?
That's 100%. And I just really think it's so sad because there's so many people out there right now, you know, through this pandemic, unable to deal with it, and the mental health issues that are spiking, and they're using alcohol or other forms of, you know, drugs or such to deal and to cope with what is going on and what has happened to them. And I also, going back to you, Samantha, when you're going through a trauma like a divorce, you weren't just being the fun mom, you were coping. That's how you were dealing with it, right? Drinking.
Correct.
And that it's for whatever reason, when we go through trauma, we tend to abuse ourselves, and because we don't know how to cope. And when we take the drug or we drink, it allows us to forget. But what we're really doing is compacting that problem, and we're only making it worse, and we're growing our issues, our problems. And I know from my own experience and from others, it is so scary to think, first of all, that you may have a drinking problem. It is a very, very hard thing to recognize about yourself and to admit. And it doesn't have to be as scary as we make it, because when we are in those deep, dark places, that alcohol just continues to make us go down that spiral. But as we do find the clarity that you both shared about, and we learn our tools through AA or whatever modality ends up working for you, you start to think and in a completely different way. And you start dealing with yourself differently and other people differently. Your vibration lifts, and you're able just to live a very different life. And I just want to say one more thing, that it's not just putting down the drink, because you can still have all of those demons inside of you without that drink. Right? You have to work on the root of the issue of why you are taking that drug or drinking. It is something that, it overtakes our bodies. There is the physical part of it, but so much of it is mental.
Right.
Well, that was well said. I'm going to give her a high five on that. You are a powerhouse. We love you. You're amazing.
So
how do we get a hold of her?
Okay.
How do we get a hold of you? We love you.
You guys, if you guys want to watch Marci's amazing talk show, go to www.wakeupwithmarci.com, and you can watch all of her shows on there and find out more about Marci. If you want to go to her Instagram, it is at Wake Up with Marci. So you guys should follow her so you can learn more about her wonderful life and how she's giving back to the world.
Any last thoughts, Marci?
Again, I just want you guys to know that whatever you are dealing with, it's difficult. And the best thing that you can do is be truthful with yourself, be truthful with others, lean on other people, ask for help. It's not weakness to ask for help. It actually is the most powerful thing that you can do. Give up the perfection. That was a big thing. I always tried to be perfect, and I'll tell you, it made my life even worse when I tried, because you're always setting yourself up for failure. And anything that you do in this life to better yourself is a gift for yourself, and you are worth it, and you're not alone.
I love that. I mean,
So
seriously, I'm so excited that our amazing publicist found you, because
I know,
made me cry.
I hope we get to hang out with you and go to lunch.
Seriously, I really am excited about
I'd love to meet your daughter.
Oh, thank you. I would love that.
Of course.
This
You
has
guys,
been so much
she
fun.
would look up to you, I tell you.
Thank you so much.
And we would
Thank
love
you both so much.
Yeah, you're amazing. We also would love to thank our sponsor, Elite Maison. If you guys want to find amazing furniture, you can go to elitemaison.com, where you'll see beautiful furniture handpicked and curated by Samantha Senia, the owner of Elite Home Staging. And also, this week we do have a discount code for you guys. So if you're listening to this show, the discount code is The Power of We. and it is 25% off all the furniture on the website. So
we love you. Mwah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Marci.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Have an
you ladies are
amazing-
wonderful.